Morning mist floated through an ancient forest where every leaf shimmered with dew. Beneath the towering ferns, the Carnotaurus stirred from sleep. His eyes opened to the light, amber orbs reflecting the first gold of day. He rose slowly, stretching his long limbs, listening to the low hum of life around him. The forest was alive. Insects droned in the heat, small creatures rustled through the undergrowth, and far away a gentle call echoed from the river. The Carnotaurus inhaled deeply. The air was rich with the scent of earth, sap, and distant rain. Hunger whispered through him. Not the urge to destroy, but the rhythm of nature calling him to move. He stepped forward, each motion balanced and quiet. His body flowed like a shadow across the forest floor. Sunlight spilled through the canopy, painting his scales with bronze and copper. Every heartbeat, every sound was part of the same great song, the song of survival. Reaching a clearing, he paused to watch the herds grazing peacefully beyond the trees. He did not lunge or chase. Instead, he observed, learning the language of their movements. In the stillness, a strange calm filled him. This was his world. Wild, endless, and free. A breeze stirred the tall grass. Far away, thunder murmured behind the mountains. The Carnotaurus lifted his head toward the sound, sensing something vast in the distance. Change, perhaps, or destiny itself. Then he turned and disappeared back into the forest, leaving only footprints in the damp earth and the echo of quiet strength. The forest ended where the plains began, an ocean of golden grass beneath a burning sky. The Carnotaurus stepped out from the shadows and into the open. The air here was different, dry, sharp, full of movement. Herds moved across the horizon like living rivers, their voices blending with the wind. He walked slowly, savoring the openness. The wind pressed against his sides, carrying the scent of faraway storms and the warmth of the sun. It also brought another presence, familiar, powerful, near. From across the plain came another Carnotaurus, younger and restless. They approached each other cautiously. No rage, no fury, only the silent conversation of eyes and posture. For a moment, they mirrored one another, like two reflections meeting in the same dream. Then the younger bowed its head slightly, and the elder answered with stillness. The tension broke. Instead of battle, there was understanding. Each turned away, following different paths across the endless land. The elder watched the horizon glow with evening light and felt the quiet pride of endurance. Dominance did not always demand destruction. Sometimes it was enough simply to stand and remain. Night descended gently. The plains turned silver under the moon, and the air cooled to a whisper. The Carnotaurus moved beside a winding river whose surface shimmered like glass. Fireflies floated above the reeds, and the chorus of frogs echoed softly through the dark. He stopped to drink, his reflection rippling in the starlight. Around him, everything seemed peaceful, so perfect that time itself appeared to pause. Yet deep beneath the calm, the earth carried a faint tremor. The Carnotaurus lifted his head, listening. The vibration came again, slow, rhythmic, like a hidden heartbeat of the world. He scanned the distance, but saw nothing except the long shadows of trees. Still, his instincts told him that something vast was moving far away. He stood silently for a long while, the wind brushing over his scales. The stars shimmered above, ancient and eternal. The tremor faded, replaced by the hush of night. The Carnotaurus exhaled softly, then lay down beside the river. Sleep came with the sound of running water and the scent of rain on the breeze. The next day, clouds rolled in from the sea, dark, immense, and heavy with rain. Lightning carved the sky, and thunder followed like a drumbeat of gods. The Carnotaurus watched from a ridge as herds below moved toward shelter. The land seemed to breathe beneath the weight of the storm. Wind lashed the grass into wild waves. The first drops of rain struck his hide, cool and sharp. He welcomed the storm, standing tall against it. For every creature on the plains, the rain was both trial and blessing. It tested their strength, washed away the old sense, and renewed the world. As the storm deepened, the Carnotaurus saw distant shapes, massive sauropods moving steadily through the downpour, their long necks swaying like trees. The sight filled him with quiet awe. These were the elders of the earth, timeless and gentle. He descended to the plain, each step sinking into wet soil. Lightning flashed around him, but he did not waver. He lifted his head and let the rain flow down his horns, eyes half closed. The thunder rolled again, not as threat but as music, the voice of a living planet. Darkness fell like a heavy curtain across the land. The plains that had shimmered golden by day were now painted silver beneath a vast, cloudless sky. The stars burned cold and distant, reflections of ancient fires in a universe that cared nothing for the struggles of beasts below. But for the Carnotaurus, the night was alive, filled with scent, sound, and shadow. He moved silently between the tall reeds, his heavy steps softened by instinct. The wind had shifted. It brought with it the scent of water and something else. Fear. Somewhere ahead, life trembled. The predator's senses sharpened, pupils widening in the dim light. Each movement of grass, each faint vibration in the ground spoke to him like words. The hunt was near. The river cut through the plain like a silver snake. Its surface shimmered with moonlight. On the far side, a small herd of Struthiomimus drank nervously, their long necks darting up at every whisper. The Carnotaurus crouched low, his muscles coiling beneath his hide. The world narrowed once more, only the prey and the heartbeat that guided his blood. A frog croaked, a branch cracked, the herd stiffened. Then silence. The Carnotaurus burst forward. Grass tore beneath his claws as his body lunged with explosive power. The herd scattered, cries filling the night. Water splashed as they fled into the shallows. But the predator was already among them. His jaws clamped down, snapping bones. One scream cut short, and then there was only the hiss of disturbed water and the rasp of his breath. The moon watched in silence as the Carnotaurus fed. Each bite was deliberate, every motion efficient. He was not cruel, only hungry. Nature demanded no mercy, and he offered none. When he finished, he stood still for a long moment, staring at his reflection in the river. Blood rippled across the mirrored surface, distorting his image. 2 horns, 2 eyes burning like amber fire. A wind passed through the reeds, cool and restless. The Carnotaurus lifted his head, eyes scanning the darkness. Something moved on the far bank, a shadow darker than night itself. Not prey, not predator, something else. The ground trembled slightly, faint but real. He turned sharply, nostrils flaring. No scent, only vibration. The sound came again, deeper now, like distant thunder rolling through the bones of the earth. The Carnotaurus growled softly, uneasy. The rival from before? Number. This was larger, older. The rhythm of the tremor carried a power that made even the hunter pause. He stepped back into the cover of grass, every sense alert. The night, once full of life, now held its breath. Frogs stopped croaking. Insects fell silent. Even the river seemed to still. The stars above dimmed as a cloud passed, casting the world into shadow. The Carnotaurus lowered his head, eyes fixed on the darkness beyond the water. The tremors faded, but the feeling did not. Something ancient had awoken out there, something that did not fear him. And for the first time, the great hunter felt the faint taste of doubt. Morning broke beneath a sky bruised with thunder. The plains were restless, winds screamed through the grass, and the clouds rolled heavy with rain. The Carnotaurus stood at the edge of a ridge, nostrils wide, feeling the storm in his bones. It was not just weather. The air carried a strange scent, salt, ash, and something ancient, something that spoke of endings. Lightning cracked across the horizon, flashing against his horns. Far below, Herds of herbivores stampeded toward the forests, driven by fear older than memory. Even the smaller predators had vanished into their burrows. The land itself seemed to tremble, the soil rippling like the skin of a living creature. The Carnotaurus began to move downhill, muscles rippling beneath his scaled armor. His instincts screamed that something was coming. The vibrations grew stronger, steady, rhythmic, vast. Each thud felt like a heartbeat of the earth. He paused, eyes narrowing, and then he saw them. Across the valley, emerging through sheets of rain, came the silhouettes of giants. Sauropods, massive, mountain-sized creatures moving in panic. Their tails whipped like towers in the wind, and their cries shook the sky. They were not moving to graze. They were running. And behind them, through the haze, came a shape so large that even the Carnotaurus, master of the hunt, hesitated. A Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its roar ripped the storm apart, echoing like a god's fury. The ground quaked beneath its strides, mud splattering with every colossal step. The Carnotaurus froze for only a moment, then lowered his head, horns gleaming. Instinct told him to flee. Pride told him to fight. The two predators locked eyes across the storm.